I've got a little bit of a lag here, so I'm nervous about my sound. Um, this will be interesting. So we're still having tech challenges here, and I've got a new computer that is going to be here today so that we can be done with these tech challenges. Hopefully you can hear me. If you are joining me, feel free to drop me a note and let me know that you can hear me. Hello, Career Thought Leaders. Good to see you. Today it is International Coaching Week through the International Coach Federation, and I am excited to share some thoughts with you about how to be a more transformational coach. And I know there are some of you out there who do these things so well. You come to our sessions and you share your strengths, and I just love it because there are so many ways to be a good coach. And this is one of the areas where I feel like when you first start coaching, you really struggle with that pressure of being a good coach, of asking the right question. And it's kind of a catch-22, if you will, because then you're focused on what questions should I ask and how do I ask just the right question? And that takes us out of being present with our client. So that is my first tool for you today, is being confident in yourself and really putting the focus on your client instead of yourself. Now, what happens in the careers industry is that oftentimes people come to us for expertise, and we feel very pressured to be the expert, in the job search process, or to be the expert in the career change process or networking. But here's the thing: if people needed expertise, they would read an article. There's expertise everywhere online. People talk about it all the time. You can get free expertise. Why would you pay for something? Here's why you pay for coaching. Because it isn't about expertise. It isn't about expert tips. They're right. You could get that online. What people need when they're asking for a coach, even though they might think they're looking for expertise, they need someone to help them make it theirs. They need someone to help them do it in a way that works for them. Maybe they need someone to help sort through the advice, but really it's that they need someone to help them overcome their own fears, their own barriers that we all put in the way of our own success, right? That's why people come to a coach. So don't worry about it doing it right. Don't worry about being the expert in your content, in a specific content area necessarily. If you follow these sessions and you read and you learn, you know enough. You are enough. It's about showing up and using your coaching skills to help that person overcome their own barriers, to gain awareness about what's really getting into their way, which may be a tip or a piece of expertise here or there. You can help them research that if you don't know it. That is typically not it. It's that they need help discovering their own strengths, their own confidence, and their own way. And you can be the confident person that helps them do that because you know the process, right? Coaches are an expert in the coaching process, in how coaching works, and perhaps somewhat in the career space, in the steps of some of these processes like career change and job search and interviewing. Yes, you know the framework and you can lead them through that. But when we get overly focused on the advice, we really lose our power and we lose our competitive advantage because they could read that advice online. So I just want this first tool for you to be really sit in your confidence as a coach, and that you can help people figure it out for themselves. You can help people as that guide to get to where they need to go next. That is your power. Your power is not knowing everything there is to know about all of these content areas. And that is sometimes a hard thing for us to give up. But when we do, we find that we're more powerful and we can be more marketable because we're not relying on our expertise necessarily. We're relying on the fact that we can help that person uncover their own answers and get to where they want to go, which is really the power of a coach. So the second tool that I want to share with you is one that we talk about all the time, and it is those powerful questions. But here's the caveat. Those powerful questions come from listening and knowing the context behind what someone is saying, not necessarily memorizing a whole bunch of powerful questions, right? We always teach powerful questions. I love to put powerful questions in my handouts. And yet it's not those specific questions that matter. It's the idea of what do someone need awareness around? What is it that might be that blind spot? And when you understand that, or you're really listening for it, then you can ask a powerful question that's going to be powerful, even if you stumble and even if it's not the right words the first time, because the intent behind it is to help them recognize where they're at and to raise their awareness around something. A really awesome, powerful question, even the miracle question, what would you do if everything was perfect? Isn't going to work in the wrong situation. It's not going to be powerful in the wrong situation. And the powerful question comes from recognizing where is that person and what do they need and how can I help them move forward. So yesterday, Tom Pounder and I were talking about interview preparation related to what I call the great regret. I don't think it's my term. I saw it out there somewhere. The great regret is when people make that jump, right? They're part of the great resignation. They left their job. Then they get into something new and they realize that it's not what they want either. And that's time for a timeout, right? It's time for a timeout when that happens, because there's something going on that may very well be internal as well as external. So if you left one organization because the company culture was bad, the boss was bad, whatever it might be, and then you get into the next organization and within a few months you have that same feeling, let's take a time out and think about what is it that you bring from that organization to the next organization, and what do you want to do differently this time? What is it that you're really looking for? And these are strong, powerful interview questions that have nothing to do with preparing for the interview, right? But it's really looking at, before we think about what questions we're going to ask or what answers we're going to give, what is it really that you're looking for out of this organization? And let's take some reflection time and look at what is it that you're bringing to this organization? Where have your stumbling blocks been before? And how are we going to make sure that we avoid those stumbling blocks in the future? So if you're joining me, go ahead and say hello. Love to see those of you that are joining and where you're joining from. Also going to pop up this link here because we are doing an interview preparation session tomorrow, but it's going to take a little bit different feel. We're going to do some of the basic things around how to ask questions, how to do that research. But it's also about what's the filter? What's the filter that they're filtering that information through? What are they really looking for when they're researching a company? If they're looking at the SEC filings and they're looking at products and programs and income and challenges, that's great. But what is their filter? What are they taking away from that information? We can give them a list of questions to ask at the end of the interview, but that doesn't mean much if they're not sure what they're looking for. What are those aspects of a company that are really important to them? And what do they need to identify to make sure it's going to be a good fit? The awesome part is that when they're taking that different approach, they're also going to probably stand out because they're not just thinking about the surface. They're not just thinking about looking good. They're actually thinking about, how can I discover and discern if this is a good fit for me? And that's part of what we want to help them do, right? Is really uncover if that's a good fit. So I see some of you saying hello. Awesome. Good to see you all. Thank you for saying hello. We've got someone from Ohio. Oh, Kathy from Buffalo. Been thinking about you. Thanks for jumping on. It's good to see you. And this is one of our powerful coaching tools, not just the powerful questions, but also thinking about the context behind it. Why are we asking that question? What are we wanting to raise awareness around so that we can really be more effective and not have our clients just jump from one thing to the next or take our advice. It's number one thing I tell people when they're giving advice as a coach. It's like, well, then it's your fault if it doesn't work out, right? If you tell the person whatever it might be, then if it doesn't work out, it's your fault. If you give them some ideas, you get some ideas from them, and it's a collaborative discussion in terms of what they want to do and how they want to move forward, then one, they own it, so they're more likely to do it. And two, it's, if it doesn't work out, it feels like, okay, we can try the next thing because we had this plan and list of things to try, and bringing that experimentation mindset. And actually, that's going to be my third tool. So my third tool is curiosity, but it's also that experimentation mindset. So as a coach, and Susan Britton teaches this, she's got some events going on this week as well. If you're following her, Susan Britton, for the coaching week, she runs the academies. We do some stuff with her and her staff because they're brilliant. And that curiosity is really so powerful for a coach, to sit in curiosity and wonder, how does that land for someone? So even if you are going to share some advice, or you're going to share a process, a framework to help someone do something, how does that land for them? What do they think? How might that work in their industry? Have they tried something similar before, and what did that do? When we ask those types of questions, to turn it back around to them, it also is that curious, puts us back in that curiosity place. And that is a superpower for a coach, is to be genuinely curious of how someone is doing, what they're feeling from the information that we share, what they've learned from the last time that we met. I mean, you name it, right? It's that showing up with that curiosity. And of course, all of us, that natural compassion that we have as coaches for our clients. It really helps us do that, and to come from that place of curiosity, and in a healthy, productive way. Not picking the person apart or being the inquisitor, but just coming from that place of how can we raise their awareness and bring that curiosity to the work that we do. So this is my three tools today. We just talked about curiosity. We talked about powerful questions, but it's not the question in and of itself. It's about what that question, the awareness that question can help you raise for a client. And if you're joining me here today, whether it's live or on the replay, and you've got some of your favorite powerful questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. They are so helpful for us as coaches to look at those and to see some of those powerful questions. And I'll come back to that here in a second. And then the first tool was your confidence. So you bring to the engagement all of the skills and background and expertise, but that you also bring your presence. And even if you don't have experience doing what the person wants to do or in the industry, that you can show up for them and you can be that guide, and you can help them research the other places. You can provide that referral if you need to someone that's more knowledgeable in the area or in the industry. But that really, as coaches, that isn't our place anyway. Content is not necessarily our place. Our place is the process and how we can help that person raise the awareness in their own space for their own experience and help them be the expert in the work that they do. So I'm going to go back here to the powerful questions. As I said, if you've got your favorite powerful question, go ahead and drop that into the chat. I think my system's a little slow today. One of my favorite questions from Michelle Carroll, who helps us teach our career transition coach class. And she was talking about how when you are confused or you don't know something, there's often different parts. And so she'll ask people a few different ways, but one, whose voice is that? So if your client's got that voice that's telling them they can't do it, or that that's unrealistic, or whatever it is, whose voice is that? So that we can help them identify when things aren't coming from themselves. And then also, what part of you does know? Or what would the part of you who does know say? And that can be a really powerful question. I love those ideas that we do have different ideas and different kind of compartments within ourselves that oftentimes take on someone else's voice, or that we argue between ourselves, right? And we can use that in our coaching to help people tap into some of the different ways of being. So the other thing that I just wanted to share with you is that we do have a group of coaches, career services providers, coaches, resume writers, who gets together on a regular basis and does this with each other. So helping each other build our business, helping each other, improve our practice. Sometimes it's more coaching where we ask each other questions. Sometimes it's some advice giving or sharing, but people come in and they ask questions about how they can better serve a client, handle a situation, or grow their business. And we serve as a mastermind group, if you will, in some ways, to give them that support. And that's called our Career Industry Authority. We have not opened the doors to the Career Industry Authority since July of 2021. And we're finally opening them again. They're open until Sunday, May 22nd. So if you're watching this before May 22nd, the Career Industry Authority, the CIA, is open, and we've got a great group of individuals in that organization putting together a little video. They talked a little bit about what the group means to them last week during our coaching week, and I'm going to put a little bit of that together for you. But if you have heard about that and you're interested in it, that is open right now, and you can ask questions about that. We also have a few open Q&As available this week, Thursday and Friday of this week. If you have questions about that or are curious, you can come and ask those questions. So that is our place for each other to support each other and be that sounding board as we do our work. So there's people that aren't necessarily in business, and then as we build our businesses. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But as you go forward into this coaching week, I would just, compliment you and all of you who come to these sessions or watch the recordings. You're so dedicated to this work that you do and to helping others. And that alone is so much value to them, that is why you show up every day, is to support others, to be that guide, and to continue building your coaching and career service skills. So kudos to you for that. And don't worry about being the expert in everything. Sit in your power as a coach, sit in your power of curiosity, and use those powerful questions to raise awareness for your client, and you'll do right by them every time. If we can cover any other topics for you, or you have questions or other coaching resources that you'd like to share, feel free to do that here in the chat. And as we always are, we'll be back next Tuesday with another trendy topic. We'll see you soon.